Moving on now to what's going on in Venezuela, politics in Venezuela. President Nicolas Maduro says he will not hesitate to call for a new revolution as the country's election results face international scrutiny. Maduro's allies in Brazil, Mexico, and Colombia are urging him to release a transparent vote count. Meanwhile, Human Rights Watch reports at least 20 people have been killed and more than 1,000 arrested in 3 days of protests after the election. I want to bring in New York Times foreign correspondent Anatoly Kurmanayev in Caracas for more. Anatoly, thank you so much for joining us. There has been so much unrest there in Venezuela for the last couple of days. What is it like there right now?
Stephanie, the country went up in flames on Monday night after the hours after the government announced, despite all the odds, that has won the election. As you mentioned, 20 people were killed. There were mass disturbances in capital Caracas, all over the country. People tearing down the statues of government leaders, signs, setting fire to government buildings. By now, however, the protests have largely dissipated. There's been a lot of violence, a lot of repression, and this is a country that has seen various waves of national unrest against the government of Nicolas Maduro in the past, in 2014, 2017, 2019, and none of these protests have managed to dislodge his grip on power. So people are becoming resigned, and the government is hoping that the facts on the ground will override any concerns about electoral integrity.
And leading up to the election, there was so much voter intimidation. There was so much unrest there. The top U.S. diplomat for the region says irrefutable evidence shows Maduro was defeated by millions of votes. So where does the country go from here, where civilians there are fighting back, not accepting this fraud result? How significant is that?
Yeah, the results announced by the government basically at this stage indefensible. There is irrefutable evidence that what the government said did not actually happen. It's very likely that instead the opposition has won the election. But because the government has maintains control of the armed forces of the repressive apparatus, it's very little that can be done. So the government's reaction is basically, it is what it is. This is what happened, and what are you going to do about it? And the region has called on President Maduro to release detailed results to prove that it actually won, but it's also signaling that it's not prepared to do anything beyond that. So once again, the government, instead of trying to build legitimacy, it basically is hoping that international community and Venezuelan will just accept the fact that he remains in power and is not prepared to leave.
And Maduro has said he won't hesitate to call for a revolution if forced by North American imperialism, and he says fascist criminals. How concerning is that, and what are you watching for as this situation moves forward?
The government has usually blamed external forces, imperialism, terrorism for any setbacks. There's nothing particularly new in this. What became clear to me yesterday with government steps is that it no longer even appears to be trying to show that it has won the election. It has basically put the issue in the hands of Venezuela Supreme Court, which is staffed by Maduro's loyalists who are expected to just sit on it for the foreseeable future. We are seeing what we are watching for any signs of renewed mass migration. Millions of Venezuelans have left the country in recent years because of the economic crisis under Maduro's government. And for many people still in the country, Sunday's election was the last hope. This was their last chance that they saw to improve their lives, to give them a chance to build a better livelihood. That door has now been shut, and we're seeing that the people head to neighboring countries, perhaps eventually to the US, in the coming weeks or months.
Hopefully there is some sort of resolve soon. We will keep a close eye on it. Thank you very much for your time, Anatoly. New York Times foreign correspondent Anatoly Kurmanayev in Caracas. Thank you.